The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, the VSiN app, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. It's all proudly brought to you by BetMGM. It's Gill Alexander. Kelley Bydlon here as well, producer number 9. So much more than a producer. Will Hill will join us later in the hour, as will Jason Weingarten from Under a Cloud of Smoke. Mike Pritchard standing by to join us as well, our own Mike Pritchard. We get tweets. We also have a pro tip coming up, but we get tweets at Beating the Book. I just wanted to read this one here, Kelley. Stephen Vegas. Because I say this every year, or not every year, I say it like 10 times a year, if not 15, which is you can only win a Super Bowl 2 ways. With a quarterback overperforming on a rookie contract or with a Hall of Famer. Now, the last time that didn't happen, 2000, Trent Dilfer with the Ravens, 2002, Brad Johnson with the Bucs. The only exception was Nick Foles with the Eagles in 2017, but that was really a Carson Wentz contract.
When you go exceptions, you go big-time exception there.
Big-time exceptions. Yeah. So, I'm just saying.
No, it's one of the ones.
By the way, future Hall of Famers as well. Like Patrick Mahomes will be a Hall of Famer kind of thing.
Yeah, like you said, this is one of the things that you bring up often, and I love it. It's I remember the first time I heard you bring it up a few years ago, and it is so true. And I think when if your NFL team's designing your team, you kind of need to think along this route, right?
Yeah, and for those of you who say Matthew Stafford, is he Hall of Famer? He's kind of got the numbers. Yeah, he's kind of got the numbers.
I mean, he's going to be close,
he's gonna
right?
Be close.
If he doesn't make it, he's going to be close.
So Stephen Vegas, riffing on that, said, since 2002, only a quarterback on a rookie deal or Hall of Fame quarterback wins the Super Bowl. Well, the AFC is completely up for grabs. NFL teams have figured out to build a total team around either type. Look, no one thinks Dak or Cousins are going to get there. Tried and true. So basically, he has gone through all the quarterbacks that are still around. And Mahomes, Hall of Fame track. Allen, last year of rookie deal. Burrow, Trevor, Herbert, rookie deal, rookie deal, rookie deal. Lamar, still rookie deal. Miami, question marks because we don't even know who the quarterback is. Hurts, rookie deal. Purdy, rookie deal. Jones, Daniel Jones, rookie deal. Brady, Hall of Fame. So the only players that would not meet the criterion are Cousins, Prescott, Geno.
I'm a little shocked he doesn't think Geno's going to the Hall of Fame, but,
That's right.
But, I don't want to say the two are absolutely correlated, but they are with my feelings of the AFC wins the Super Bowl. I don't care which one of 3 teams it is.
Part of it. Mike Pritchard joins us, everybody, from the Pro Football Blitz here on the network. And as always, the nicest guy in the room. And what we determine off air when we're talking about like random VSiN host athletic competitions, we're like, who would win this and who would win that? The answer is always Mike Pritchard, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. You know what? You are spot on, you and Kelley, about quarterbacks. And that's why we see teams reach for quarterbacks sometimes because, if you're drafting a quarterback in the top 5, top 10, you're anticipating the track of certainly a Hall of Fame type of career, right? So what you said, Gill, and what you and Kelley just discussed, you guys are 100% on that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's why also, with the Bears having the first pick, they already have Justin Fields, so one would assume they're open for business. It's why someone like, the Colts already, by the way, this came out where GM Chris Ballard telling reporters he'll do whatever it takes to trade up in the draft is if there's a quarterback that the Colts really want. I say that for the team I grew up loving, the Washington football team. I'm like, my God, Chase Young, the first this year, the first next year for the number 1 pick? Yes, because nothing else matters.
You're absolutely right. When we look at the league, I think each and every year, and because we're bettors, right, and we look at maybe potential surprises because we want the long shots to kind of win. But in actuality, in reality, there's more constants, right? I mean, the good teams are always going to prevail. The good teams are always going to be in a situation to go into the playoffs. And it starts with the quarterback. Certainly the stability of that situation. The outlier this year, to me, is the 49ers because they're at their 3rd string quarterback right now. But it shows you how great that roster is. And I think there's different ways of building a team. And certainly Kyle and John, they understand it from Mike, Kyle's dad, Mike Shanahan. So they have a complete football team. I mean, plug and play at multiple key positions that's helping out the quarterback situation.
So let's start with Purdy, because where are you on that? So, everybody, many people say the clunker's coming, right? He's due for a bad game, and oh boy, it's going to happen in the playoffs. It feels like that the team around him, and I've heard, George Kittle publicly and lots of other guys on the team, it feels like they believe. Where do you come down on the Niners and Purdy moving forward here?
Well, I'm a believer in the fact that I don't think he's going to have the clunker because, one, Kyle isn't going to put him in that position. And when he was tested, Gill and Kelley, that was against the Raiders, right? And the Raiders were scoring. Purdy wasn't looking that great at times. He had to make some key throws in that game. He had the pressure on him for the first time in a significant way, and I thought he was fine. Because the 49ers had answers, and then certainly that defense started to step up a little bit too. But that was a test. And go back and watch that game. He made some throws. He became a playmaker for a handful of times. Like if you're asking Brock Purdy, in my opinion, to be a playmaker for, 15, 20 attempts, then that's the recipe for disaster. But I don't think Kyle's going to put him in that situation. So as long as he doesn't feel like he has to win the game, which is the feeling that Kyle generates with that offense, then I think he'll be okay. That clunker, and you're right. I think a lot of bettors are looking for that, but I don't think Kyle's going to allow that to happen if he can.
Okay, so if I come to you, well, there's a game Monday, but Monday's a Tampa Bay Dallas game. So if I come to you Monday morning, and I say to you, Pritch, one of these big favorites, the Niners, who are 9.5-point favorites against the Seahawks, the Bills, who are currently 9-point favorites against the Dolphins, the Bengals, 7-point favorites against the Ravens. Obviously, we don't quite know who the quarterback is for the Ravens, but if I come to you Monday and I said, oh my God, Pritch, one of these teams got beat. Not saying, so just a caveat for everybody listening, I'm not saying Pritch believes this, but I'm forcing him to answer this question.
Yes, you are.
One of them loses. Who is it?
The divisional matchups are always the tricky ones. You do have familiarity because you have a rematch with the Chargers and Jacksonville. Seattle and San Francisco divisional matchup the third time around. The same thing with Baltimore and Cincinnati. Baltimore knows Cincinnati so well. And I love what Cincinnati has put together this year. But there has been some inconsistency there as well. And also, Cincinnati showed that they could be distracted a little bit with the whole coin flip and trolling and all this stuff. And being distracted right now is not great, right? And so all you had to do was win that game, and you were going to host Baltimore the next week. And so that's what we have. We have a rematch of this game a week later, and we saw Cincinnati get banged up. Because Baltimore, they love that kind of party, right? Michael Singletary, right? We love to mix it up. We love to be physical. So if Cincinnati is not ready for that, the distraction, then I think that's their answer come Monday. 49ers are just too good, in my opinion. And then Buffalo, I think Miami, there's a buzzsaw up there in Buffalo right now. And I don't think Miami has a chance really in that football game.
I think that's the correct answer. Like, as much as I love Cincinnati and the prospect of it not being Lamar, and maybe, for goodness sakes, what kind of version would we get of Huntley with the finger?
Right.
I think you're right. I think that's still the answer. That it wouldn't shock people if Baltimore somehow figured it out. Because like you said, even with Anthony Brown, they made that a game. And I think that's a great point about the Cincinnati Bengals being distracted. What do you like best? Like when you look at this, at the totality of the 6 games, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, what's the line that you look at? You're like, oh, I like this team.
I like the Giants, to be honest with you. It's a great unknown, though. It's a great unknown because they did sit some key players. You think about Daniel Jones and Saquon, but it's the Vikings' inability to kind of just put people away, even though they are prolific offensively. They just haven't put teams away all year long. I don't want to wonder why. I just look at the fact that that's happened. And therefore, if the Giants, which I believe are so well coached, the buy-in was incredible this year from Coach Daboll. We saw their backups almost win a game against the Eagles, who needed that football game, right? So I think the Giants are poised here to go on the road. The only wild card I would suggest is that it's the first situation for those key players, and Daboll didn't give them any type of run. But the reward on the other side of that is certainly getting inside the 3 points if they can, or in fact win the football game. I think that's live as well.
Chargers Jags is the coin flippiest, if you will, of the games. Do you have a take on that one?
The only thing Trevor Lawrence, Gill, showed some vulnerability to the pressure. I mean, he missed wide open receivers against Tennessee. And, it's the youth factor. And that's what Jacksonville did prove this year, is that it's a young man's game. And you're coachable. You got a chance to get better. And we saw that with Jacksonville, exercising demons in terms of the fourth quarter situations and coming through and winning games, making plays when they need to, and then going on the road and winning as well. So Peterson did a great job in that regard, but it is the youth factor. I think on the other side, Justin Herbert, if he's not in that top tier of these type of quarterbacks like the Josh Allen, the Patrick Mahomes, and people like that, the Joe Burrows, then he's right there below it, right? And if Mike Williams is healthy enough with the back spasms, I think the Chargers are in for a nice situation. They can go on the road. I mean, you're laying a point and a half, depending on where you shot, but I think they're poised to move on to the next round.
Mike, really appreciate it as always. And unrelated note, Jermaine Dupri is working on a Freaknik documentary. Just wanted to throw that out.
Let's go. All right.
Thank you,
I might be on that.
Oh, no. Is that Pritch? Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Guys.
That's going to be
All right.
awesome. A Pritch sighting. Oh, by the way, pro tip of the first hour. We forgot to do that, or I forgot, Kelley. I apologize. Make sure to shop around different markets, even within the same book, and find good bets where others aren't looking often. For instance, for example, that stage of elimination bet with the Bucs and the Cowboys that we're talking about that's available at DraftKings. Every pro tip searchable on VSiN.com. We do one each and every hour. That's at least 20 a day. Remember, though, only for VSiN subscribers. That's the key. Coming back, Will Hill will join us. His thoughts on the NFL and NBA. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Before you make your next bet, be sure to visit VSiN.com to check the current betting splits data.
Split bets.
Want to know where the money and bets are moving every game? Well, the betting splits page is updated with DraftKings odds every 10 minutes, so you can see changes in all the action. Find out where the public is betting based on the number of tickets and where the money does not match the public opinion. You can check out not just today's action, but future events as well. Betting splits. Yet another way that VSiN is here to make you a smarter, better year-round. Check out today's betting splits for every game at VSiN.com. What you know about Freaknik, Kelley? Anything? You familiar with Freaknik?
No, nothing.
I, like Mike Pritchard, am terrified that I will be in this documentary as well.
Pritch looked legit concerned.
Catch a glimpse of me is what I mean.
It's like, am I going to have to put out a statement on my appearance in this documentary?
It was it was something of humble beginnings that sprouted into a massive early 90s Atlanta hip-hop culture event.
Okay.
Where law enforcement was really the rule, not the exception. I'll just leave it at that. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Cricket Man. Okay, single and drives a rocket. Frugal equals Corvette. Maybe Porsche. Maybe left your Jag in Kansas City. Oh, he's trying to guess what car I'm driving, I guess? None of the above.
Oh.
A. Brown. Awesome take by Drew on Tampa Bay winning the NFC 5 seconds after I made Gill's suggested bet on the Bucs and the boys to each lose in the divisional round. Yeah, Drew and I disagree on that.
I mean, you have different voices on this show that have different opinions.
We're not all going to agree.
That happens.
It's not just juice if you win. Says, is there any shot the Texans go rogue and take Anderson or Carter? Talking about Will Anderson and Jalen Carter at 2, and see if a quarterback falls to 12 or double rogue and build the defense and get Caleb Williams in 2024. Man, I suppose anything's possible.
Anything can happen, right? Everybody's got these hot draft takes right now, and it's I don't think you can rule out the Bears falling in love with one of these quarterbacks and actually going that way. I think there's a possibility it could happen. I think it's unlikely, but I think it's a possibility. And I also think that you can't discount the idea of them falling in love with one of the two defensive players too.
Anything is possible. And by the way, the months between the Super Bowl and the NFL draft, it's amazing what teams will talk themselves into.
Right. I mean, do I think they're going to trade out of that spot? Yes. But I don't think you can. Everybody thinks that's like a guarantee right now.
Oh, Alianis, I'll just read this one because we'll get to Will Hill. Alianis, he says. I think I left out a couple ha's. Who is saying Purdy's a top 5 quarterback? He's not, but he's also not bad. He's Jimmy G and level average, and that guy took us to a Super Bowl and NFC Championship with a lesser D. Keep doubting Brock, though. Drew, you know who said he was a top 5 quarterback?
Who?
Peter King.
Interesting.
Top 5 quarterback. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Hill would never say something that outlandish. He joins us now, VSiN contributor Will Hill. William Hilliam, full name. How you doing, Will?
Boy, top 5. That's a take. I haven't heard that one. Top 5. That's in the NFL, he said?
But let me see what league he was referring to. Yes, NFL. Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
I don't know if you meant former Iowa State quarterback, top 5 former Iowa. Yeah, but that's a strange one.
Top 5 quarterbacks named Brock. Yeah, no, it's true. It was the NFL, current NFL. All right, let's start with football. What do you like best wild card weekend?
It's turning into a decent teaser week here with the Niners going to 9.5. You can use that in a 7-pointer. The Jags in that teaser range where you can tease them up. The Bills now getting down where you can tease them. So, I'm probably going to end up with a lot of teasers in the account. The ones just straight up I like. I think the Chargers are meaningfully better than Jacksonville. I just think they're further along in their development. I think they're better at quarterback. The Chargers had a bye right around Halloween. Since then, I think they're second in DVO and pass defense, and that's really the Jags' bread and butter is throwing the ball. The Jags are not good defending the pass, so I wouldn't be shocked if this got up to Chargers by a field goal. I just think they're further along in their development. I think they win this game, and boy, if it sets up where they play Kansas City, I think they'll give Kansas City all sorts of hell.
They always do,
a week
don't
from
they?
Now. They always do.
Yeah, let me just, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but you made a point there about the Chargers. You said meaningfully better than the Jaguars, which I think is an interesting point because, again, and we might be really close to the sun on this, but in the circles that we travel, right, the Jaguars are the quote-unquote sharp bettors, darling team always, it feels like. Oh, the Jaguars, right? Beginning of the season, everybody loved the Jaguars that came on the network. The Chargers, it feels like, are the team that people like to always bust on Brandon Staley, right? So we live in this weird world. Jaguars equals good, Chargers equals bad. But you're saying, no, quite the opposite.
Yeah, I just think they're better at core. I mean, everyone would take Herbert over Lawrence, I think, and you probably take the Chargers defense over the Jags defense. And to throw a weird one at you, I don't like the Jags kicker. I think it's Patterson. I don't like him at all. Chargers, for once, have a decent kicker in what is it? Is it Dicker the kicker? I think his name is. Usually that's an area of weakness for the Chargers. But look, how often do these games come down to a kick? So I just think the Chargers are really better across the board.
No, I do that thing on place kickers before every postseason. Also, we go through the kickers because it's like we always say. We never talk about kickers besides Justin Tucker, right? And so many of these games, as you say, come down to a kick or two. By the way, I think I guessed Chargers -3 on guessing lines. I'll have to check what my number was.
It was something like that.
I think I did too.
I think there's there's been a lot of, I think, sharp opinions, from the pros and stuff out there on the Jags and Giants this week, and I know everybody's gonna laugh at the Vikings with me, but it's I'm with you, Will. I think on the Chargers side, I'm waiting for Mike Williams to get full clearance, but I think I'm gonna be on that Chargers side pretty heavy this week.
I did guess Chargers -3, so I'm with you. Okay. Anything else NFL that you like?
Nothing. I like the Bills. I don't think Tua's going to play. I think this number, somebody certainly seems to know. I'll put it this way. Somebody seems to know that Skylar Thompson is going to be the quarterback. I don't think it's going to be Tua. So my guess would be it's Teddy Bridgewater. It's interesting with the quarterback info. I hate the expression, Vegas knows, but I do think the market knows when it comes to these quarterback moves because last week before it was announced Fields was sitting, that line moved accordingly before anything was announced. A couple weeks ago with Hurts in Dallas, that line moved before anything was announced. So the market seems to know sometimes who's at quarterback, who's not at quarterback. I think this line would be 7.5 if it were Tua. I think it'd be like 13 if it were Skylar Thompson. The fact that it's in the 9.5 range to me suggests it's Bridgewater. But to me, the Bills are a lay price or a lay option here where, they're going to win this game by 10+ points. I don't think they've been playing great. They've sort of gotten by the skin of their teeth a lot of these games here. They needed kick returns last week against the Pats. But to me, if it's not Tua here, Bills win this game and they win it comfortably. And, of course, at 9.5, you can do some things to get them down through the 7 and through the 3 on teaser. So I like the Bills and I like the Niners too. To me, I always look to the dogs, but it's a lot of chalk for me this week where I don't see Seattle hanging in this game. I don't see Miami hanging in this game. Yeah. So like I said, a lot of teasers, a lot of chalk.
I said at the top of the show, this is the week where the highest rate, right? Almost 89% of games don't involve the point spread, which means that, no matter how high they make these numbers, oftentimes the favorites get there. This is historically going all the way back to 1978. Okay. Let me ask you sort of beyond that. Obviously, we all kind of think conventional wisdom, there are 5 really good teams. Eagles and Niners in the NFC, Bills, Bengals, and Chiefs, whatever order you have them in the AFC. Which is the team of those three in the AFC that does not get to the AFC Championship? You did say that little point about the Chargers if they play the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll just go with the Bengals because they're going to have to go to Buffalo, which, again, you hate to make a big deal of it, but that was really a rough deal they got having to go to Buffalo here where, look, they were leading against the Bills. They were home. They had the ball. And now we're just assuming a loss there where they're the 3 seed, the Bills are the 2. And if it comes down to Bills, Bengals in the division round like we all expect here, it's going to be Cincy going at Buffalo. And to me, these teams are even enough where that's the difference. So I guess just play the percentages here. And I would say Cincy's the team that doesn't make it. Although, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers beat the Chiefs. They always play them well.
All right. And conversely, if I say to you, one of those 4 championship game spots was taken by someone not in those big 5 teams, if you will, who's the team, either conference, that got there?
Say that again. So the team not in the top 5 that gets there?
Yes. Either conference.
So I can say the Chargers?
You can say the Chargers, yep.
Yeah, I'll say I'll just go with the talent and say they finally come through for all the people who believed in them this whole time.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting discourse on Staley because everyone was all over him in terms of loving him. Now everyone hates him again, and now that he plays all the starters, people don't like him. It'd be interesting. We wouldn't know what to do with him, right, if he's in the AFC Championship game.
How good are you feeling about your Brooklyn Nets 50-1, man?
A little better before Durant got hurt, but it sounds like it's only going to be 10, 12 games. They're playing a little defense, so maybe they can just split these games here and then go to get on with life. If they play really well, I could see them holding Durant out, maybe till like the All-Star break and really giving him 5 or 6 weeks. But look, they look good. I will say though, I had Nash at like 40-1 to win Coach of the Year. So if his replacement wins it, that'll be a little bit of a knife to the ribs.
Jacques Vaughn wins the Coach of the Year, and the Brooklyn Nets do not win the championship. That would be brutal. Anything in the NBA tonight for you?
I took a total. How about this? I got the over of the Kings and the Rockets. The Kings are bad on defense. The Rockets are worse, so I got over 238. And then college basketball, I took Marquette, and I took TCU plus 6.5 against Texas. Texas looks like a mess without Chris Beard. I wonder if Calipari ends up in Texas. Starting to hear some of those rumors. So TCU, Marquette, and then the over Kings Rockets.
Will Hill played an NBA total tonight, Kelley.
Well, I'm kind of chuckling back here because I did nothing in the NBA, but that was the closest bet I got to making.
Wow.
The over in that game, yeah.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
Twitch.tv/Goldboys Network. Got to get my plug in. Thanks, Gilly.
My man, Will Hill, gets the plug in. We'll come back. Kelley would like to say some things about golf this week. How about that? Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you're looking for a betting edge on football's big game, the VSiN experts got you covered. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber with an introductory offer of only $9.99. VSiN Pro subscribers get access to our daily recap of the top plays made by VSiN show hosts and guests. Tools like our betting splits that let you see where the money and bets are moving every game. Deep dive betting reports, VSiN betting guides for the biggest games of the season where our experts break down brackets, best bets, and all the big game props. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit VSiN.com/subscribe today to sign up for only $9.99 and become part of the Sports Betting Network. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. V as in victory.
Yeah, but seriously, that song you were singing during the break, that's like my 3rd favorite Matchbox 20 song.
Kelley thinks it's funny when you sing like an Elton John song and then he attributes it to a different artist.
Just like any really famous song, you're like jump in, you're like, oh, I love Bruce Springsteen doing that.
Like a pop culture observation.
Yeah.
So, I'm watching tennis all night last night. Adelaide, Auckland. No. But then, like, on Twitter, I'm sort of like, you browsing on Twitter what people are talking about. And, like, every once in a while, a Golden Globes thing hits the...
Yeah.
And finally, it takes, like, the 4th one for it to register in my brain. Oh, I guess the Golden Globes are on.
Now, let's do 30 seconds in other things happening in the world, Gill. I believe that happened last night.
Yeah.
And I believe I saw some news story today about, like, every flight in the country being delayed and canceled.
That as well. Hope everybody.
Stuff just goes over our heads.
So the Golden Globes thing was, I guess the reason I was surprised, it's usually on a Sunday night, right? And I remember the Golden Globes being something I actually looked forward to because it was the loosest of all the award shows. And it was usually pretty entertaining. Are you ready for my macro statement?
Yeah.
I feel like one of the biggest casualties of the pandemic was the worship of Hollywood culture. And in a good way, by the way. Like, I just don't. Maybe I'm on an island. Maybe I just got old. Maybe I'm just so. Maybe I was doing 2 shows a day for 2 years. But I feel like I couldn't care less about that stuff anymore.
You said that like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And you're saying it again now. I mean, you're asking the wrong guy because I completely agree with you. I feel like I'm like, but yeah, it feels that way, right? I mean, maybe it's coming back a little bit now, where I feel like we're finally back to having like the big movies in the movie theaters, right?
I could be completely wrong. Could be just me.
But you're asking the wrong guy. I still don't understand how you make a sequel to a movie that came out 13 years ago, in Avatar I'm talking about. Like, what's your audience there? What's your target audience? Me and Kev and you?
That's right.
Like, I saw the first one when I was like 20, and now I'm supposed to be excited about this one now?
If you're having Zoe Saldana in a movie, I don't want to see her all
I don't need her blue.
That's right. Speaking of stuff on TV, Netflix coming out with both a tennis and golf docuseries. And I am pumped. Tennis one starts in 2 nights. It's called Breakpoint. And the golf one, which you are equally pumped about.
I don't even know what it's called. But it's
full swing.
Full swing.
February 15th. Pumped about those?
I don't know if I'm pumped about the name Breakpoint. I mean, come on. Like, what, we're just flip-flopping point break? Like, come on.
Breakpoint.
I don't know if I like that, but yeah. I just watched the trailer for the golf one during the break.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. I mean, look, these type of docs.
Tennis one looks great, too.
They just give you a behind-the-scenes look that you never see otherwise. Never see.
We should get Ryan to do the voiceover for that stuff. Breakpoint. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Angriest guy in New Jersey. Gill, you crack me up every day. He says, you crack me up every day, Gill Alexander. Public enemy number 1, menace to society. You should have told that cop to bet Purdy Rookie of the Year. Well, one more thing. Little tip. Brock Purdy, plus 750. Go get it.
Still can't believe you did that.
I literally, like, the moment in your life where I can't tell my friends this, though, because they will be like, oh, Gill, you were on a trajectory to be Larry David for 20 years now. Seriously, I said to him, I go, why don't you do something about these trucks and the stuff coming on?
I'll take this ticket, but I got a couple things to say to you.
I said, while I have you. I literally said that.
That is incredible. That is incredible.
While I have you. This is what's happening to me. This is from Jason H11. Can we get a segment where Ryan Hunter, the voiceover guy, and Vinny Maolio just talk to each other? All right, let's make that happen.
There you go.
Yeah, just talking to each other. This is, let's see,
Chatted with Vin a bit yesterday.
How's Vin doing?
Doing great. He was holding down the fort here at the South Point. Had a little chat with him. Hair's looking great as always.
Love Vinny Maolio.
Love him.
Man, I used to give him so much guff for not having tennis up. He used to really enjoy that, I'm sure. Let's see. And on with the tweets. We appreciate it very much. By the way, a couple notes from yesterday that we missed before we get to Kelley's golf. Yesterday, the NBA, you see this, the Miami Heat were 40 for 40 from the stripe, from the free throw line. And they needed every one of them to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 112 to 111.
Oh, man, you maybe shouldn't have followed up Angriest Guy in New Jersey tweets with this game, but it's okay. He only tweeted me about 18 times about it last night.
Oh, he did? Yeah. He did?
But yeah, that was crazy. If you bet on the NBA last night, God bless you, because there were some wild games, I guess, and results. I got in on the Cavs live, was considering playing them pregame. Glad I didn't do that. It was another one of those situations, Gill, of great live bet and great way to bet the NBA. And then on the exact opposite of that, the Warriors playing the Suns JV team, and they dropped down early, and I'm like, give me all the Warriors live I can handle.
Bro, I looked at that score, and I thought to myself, I'm going to do it, and I never got around to doing it, thank God.
Yeah, that was quite a beating, I think, on that game.
Suns beat the Warriors, 125.
I mean, Magic beating the Blazers
Let's just get the final out. Again, the Warriors were 12-point favorites. Suns beat them outright, 125 to 113. Sorry, go ahead.
Magic beating the Blazers last night. I know there's a few people I knew that were on the Blazers pretty heavy last night. Big rest advantage over the Magic on this road trip. Big win for anybody holding Magic tickets like I am. But, it was some wild results last night.
Donovan Mitchell dropping 46 in his revenge spot, but the Jazz beat the Cavs 116 to 114. And then the scores, Jordan Schultz reporting, Kelley, that the Cardinals plan to trade DeAndre Hopkins this offseason. So they are, what's the opposite of all in? All out.
That is fascinating to me. because I think he is still a very, very good wide receiver in this league.
I would think so. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni, by the way, Nick Sirianni also saying that he's, quote, hopeful, unquote, that edge rusher Josh Sweat will play in the playoffs with that neck injury. All right, golf, Kelley.
3 minutes of golf real quick.
Let's
We
do it.
are at the Sony Open, staying in Hawaii, but we are going over to Oahu. And this is Waialae Country Club will be playing this week. First full field event of the year, 144 players. That means it cuts back, top 65, and ties will be your cut on Friday. You may remember Hideki Matsuyama winning this event last year at 23 under. Real quick, this is one of those where we talk tournament history and some trends at this tournament. Read a couple things from Jason Sobel that he pointed out. Over the past 6 years, players who competed in the Century Tournament of Champions, which was last week, and then competed in the Sony Open have comprised just 16% of the field, but have won 5 of the 6 titles, accounted for 39% of the top 10s, and made the cut 73% of the time. So this is one pretty widely known to golf bettors out there. If you are betting this event this week, look to guys that did play last week. For the vast majority, I think they've won 8 of the last 9. I think I went back and looked last night. So that is really where I focused my betting at this week. Much different golf course. You will see it when it gets played this week than what we saw last week. Driving here is going to be much more important than it was last week. The rough can be pretty penal this week that you're going to see on these, and a lot of dog legs with the fairways. You still have some wider greens. Around the green play will be more important this week. The problem is, Gill, we talk about around the green play. If you're playing a strong around the green player, it better be a tough tournament and a tough course that they're playing in. And this is still a little bit easier scoring tournament. So I'm not looking at guys that can do that. I need guys that are going to hit it in the fairway, get it on the green, and make putts. Putting is going to be huge again this week. Whoever has I'm just seeing Tua out Sunday.
Oh,
I just saw that come across my Don
Tua
screen.
out.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that during the break. But
So
Tua out is what I just saw.
So the notion of that Bills line dropping further may be in question now.
Yeah, now seeing it all over Twitter as well. Tua out. Dolphins have not cleared Tua to return.
Can I just have a serious moment, not to interrupt your golf thing for a second? As a human being, I am happy about that.
Me too.
I just don't want to see the kid get hurt any further.
Me too. And we were talking about it a bit yesterday. It kind of felt like something was going on there, and I think that's probably the best decision for him, at least going forward. So, that number is going to move back up if it hasn't already.
Unless it's Teddy Bridgewater, right? Unless it's Teddy Bear.
Yeah, unless it's Teddy Bridgewater. So, anyways, getting back to golf real quick. Guys that I did zero in on this week, Corey Connors, Russell Henley, 2 big guys I circled bets around. Both played last week. Both played okay, not fantastic, but both played okay. Henley, I bet this was my first second place finish of the year last year. Gil was Henley at this tournament last year.
Oh, memories.
So I'm going to go back to him. Yeah. One of 12 last year is what he was. I'm going to go back to him this year. Morikawa ran him. Not Morikawa. Matsuyama ran him down last time. 22-1 on both him and Connors, and outrights took a long shot on Russell Knox at 105-1. Top 10, top 20 on Connors, top 20 on Henley, and then Cam Davis, who I just can't quit, played a top 20 on him as well. Tournament matchup, Jordan Spieth plus 126 over Tom Kim. Tom Kim getting a little overrated.
Nice job doing your golf and then getting the Tua report in there as well, Kelley. Well done.
How about that?
Jason Weingarten from Under a Cloud of Smoke. Next, Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashing the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM rewards points that you can redeem for online bonus credits like free bets. It's never been easier to join the action on the new BetMGM app, featuring a fresh redesign with improved features and quicker navigation. Planning a trip to Vegas, you can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM rewards points you can use towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM resorts located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards, sports betting's premier loyalty program, including exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager with BetMGM. Sign up with BetMGM or log in today to take advantage of BetMGM Rewards. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Brian Hunter read that better than I did the first hour. He was great.
Oh, yeah. You just,
we should just have him here. What's that?
The voice, man.
We should just have him here standing behind a curtain And then whenever we need
do
something
the
done,
live
we just wheel them out. We're like, Ryan, could you say it? And it has more gravitas. Like I'll say, bet the stage of elimination, Bucks and Cowboys. And then we'll be like, let's have Ryan say it.
Let's have Ryan say it.
You'd be like,
It'll go across better. All right, where does the market stand right now? On Bills Dolphins,
Yes.
we're up to, immediately flew up to 11. Those are gone. 11 and a half, 12s now is
Whoa.
what we're up to.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. I am very glad. And by the way, off the board in some offshore spots, it should be pointed out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, good point. If it's on the board, those are the
Yes.
numbers you're seeing.
I am very glad that I, just before you announced that, randomly threw in, are you ready for this? A Bengals -7, Niners -9.5, Bills -7.
Teaser.
Bought it down to 7. No, parlay.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I went
laid
crazy.
all the points.
Which, by the way, is a lesson. I shouldn't make bets during this show because if I was like off the air doing it, I probably wouldn't have made it.
Well, obviously.
But I'm just like, yeah. Anyway,
You
I
know
made
how,
it.
like,
And I
we
feel
went
good
over-
about it now.
You know how we went over our NFL futures yesterday,
Yes.
right? Like how many of those would you really have if we didn't do these shows every day, right?
That's right. We get tweets at Bidding the Book. Ryan Hyatt, Kelley. Ryan Hyatt, silent producer of Primetime Action for 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years.
He says, is there a countdown clock somewhere to update us on the next guessing college football lines with Kelley Bydlon on a numbers game with Gill on VSiN Live? America waits, he says.
Yeah, I think that's on VSiN.com. There's just a countdown clock going.
Yeah,
I'm sure
right at
it's
the
something
top.
we've efforted.
Right corner. People are like, what is this? Oh, that's the
People are like,
guessing
who's
lines.
Kelley
College
Bydlon?
football. Blue Hen Bill saw a stark similarity between Hurts' first playoff game last year against Tampa and Trevor's first basically playoff game against Tennessee this past week. Trevor may be a year away from being ready for that different speed of the game. Checkmark Chargers. Let's see. Do. That's me going through.
Yeah, I got one more update here.
Rick Ollier, of all the quarterbacks still in the playoffs from California, Brock Purdy, top 5, Peter King. Everybody riffing on the whole. What did he mean, the NFL?
Top 5 California quarterback.
Yeah.
I agree.
What you got, Kelley? What did you say?
Dolphins, you're also part of this number. Dolphins, this from Schefter, preparing for Skylar Thompson to start against Buffalo.
Preparing for Skylar Thompson to start.
So it's not Teddy. It's Skylar.
That ain't going to be good. We got Jason?
Yep.
Jason Weingarten, ladies and gentlemen, from Under a Cloud of Smoke. He's the host of the wide World of Weingarten Podcast, wherever podcasts are distributed, and, of course, a numbers game stalwart. Good morning to you, Jason.
Good morning. How's it going?
It's going well. I lament because I know both you and I this past week in Week 18 had Commanders-Rams money line parlay bets, which paid out like almost 11-1. And we just got snaked at the end on that running into the kicker. But I love that we had those bets, and it really is a testament to how weird Week 18 is, because we'd never have had them in any other week.
Yeah, it was close. I didn't think the Rams were going to pull it off, but they fought, and it was much better than the 11-1 we were getting.
Yeah. By the way, new angle of Jason's bookcases, his bookcase room. Jason,
it's just temporary. I'm redoing my desk, so
It's a great new shot.
everything's
I like
kind of.
I like it. Jason, is that whole room, the perimeter, is just books?
Half of it. There's stuff on the wall. There's art and other things on my other wall.
Okay, all right. Art that, by the way, he has been very cagey in purchasing. Let me just ask you this, Jason. Jason's like, it's true. I have been cagey. Let me ask you this. I brought this up earlier in the week, which you did the research on, and I'll give you this one last. By the way, NFL awards, for those who don't know, happen in February. So they don't make us wait like Major League Baseball to, like the equivalent would be if we had to wait till after Valentine's Day. Actually, I might be wrong. It might be January. I'm not sure. But anyway, they happen.
It's right before the Super Bowl.
Right before
like
the
the
Super Bowl.
weekend of.
Perfect. Okay. So it's not like baseball where you have to wait months after the season, in other words.
Nah, they do an award show.
They do an award show. They give them all out. It's not like, on MLB Network when they're like, Sarah, the wife of the guy who wins it is presenting the award. You're like, oh, I guess so-and-so's winning this. All right. And you made the point. I just want to make this again. Where people who are laughing about you about Nick Gates winning Comeback Player of the Year, you made the point that when you did the historical research, the fact is it doesn't require that many votes to win this in the first place.
Yeah, when you look at the vote distribution, there's been years like Alex Smith, for example, he got 49 out of 50 votes. But then you start going down the list. Ryan Tannehill won with 16 out of 50 votes. And then you go a little farther down the list and you see another quarterback won one year with 13 out of 50 votes. And then you just keep going farther and farther back and you get down to like 2003. You see John Kitna won with 8 votes. So, this award has a vote distribution where you can win with 8 first-place votes or 49 first-place votes. So there are different ways to win this award, and this is the first year we have ranked choice voting for all the awards.
Right.
So voters will be putting their top 5 in, and we'll see if that leads to any changes.
Who could forget when John Kitna won the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year award? I remember it fondly.
I don't even remember that. I mean, that was a long time ago.
I'm totally joking. I have no recollection of that whatsoever.
Me either. Like, what
I
team
remember
was it?
Garrison Hurts won it when he had the similar injury to Nick Gates. I think compound fracturing your leg like this should be a shoo-in for the award. I mean, Garrison Hurts, Alex Smith. This is a hard injury to come back from, let alone play lineman after.
The award should be named after Alex Smith. Let's be honest. Okay, what do you like this weekend then?
I love the Seahawks getting 10 points. Am I crazy? Third matchup of the year,
You might be a little crazy, but, we like
10
your
points versus a 7th-round rookie quarterback. I'll take that in the playoffs every week without even, that's a blind bet for me. 10 points. I mean, Brock Purdy might be the best quarterback in the world. He might be, but he hasn't had a bad game yet, and I expect him to have a bad game sooner or later, and especially in the playoffs when, intensity gets ratcheted up a level. And I'll take the 10 points here. I laid 1 and 1.5 with the Chargers early. I don't think the early season blowout really matters much now, but Staley really disappoints me with his inconsistency in his game calling, and playing guys at altitude last week in a meaningless game was kind of a foolish decision on his part, I think.
Yeah, I think most would agree with that. I also, I would extend it to the point I was making Monday is it's funny how he got all the flack, but like Mike McCarthy, and I get it, technically there was something for the Cowboys to play for, but by halftime they had nothing to play for either, and he was still playing his guys the whole way through, and somehow he got unscathed by the same argument. So there were other guys who played it equally strangely, I think. Man, you couldn't even wait for me to finish the sentence. You were all over the Seahawks. Like that was, it seemed like by far your favorite. You like the Jags. Anything else?
I like the Bucks getting 2.5 versus the Cowboys. I know, I've been on the wrong side of Tom Brady far more than I've been on the right side in my career. I'm usually fading him at the wrong times and betting on him when I shouldn't be. But give me 2.5 points with the Bucks here. I just think the Cowboys are an interesting team, but I think the line's fine. I'll take the 2.5 here with the Bucks at home.
All right, Jason. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Looking forward to baseball. The odds are starting to pop up.
Oh, next time, Jason with baseball. Got to do that. Jason Weingarten, host of the Wide World of Weingarten podcast. By the way, pro tip, keep an eye on things like NBA straw polls. They'll give you a great idea at how voters are viewing award markets versus the odds makers. That's your pro tip for the hour. We do one every hour on VSiN across every show, so that means at least 20 every day. They're all available for VSiN Pro subscribers only at VSiN.com, where you can sort them by sport and by show. Kelley.
Yeah, another update on Damar Hamlin. Discharged from the Buffalo hospital.
Wow.
Is out of the hospital 9 days after going into cardiac arrest on the field.
Walked out of there? Maybe on a wheelchair. He's out. Doesn't matter.
He's out. That's where we got tripped up a little bit yesterday when he went from Cincinnati to Buffalo, was still in the hospital.
To the hospital in Buffalo.
Has been officially discharged from the hospital. Incredible.
I mean, let's be honest. That is, first of all, the greatest news we could have gotten today, and amazing from where we have come from that moment on that field in Cincinnati some 9 days ago. Congratulations to Damar Hamlin. We've done all we can do. The Lombardi line is next. Enjoy from VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.